Alright everyone, this is Chase from OutsideTribe.com. Today I'm going to show you how to install this American flag decal on your Toyota Sequoia. You're going to need a credit card or something to smooth out the sticker. You're going to need a scalpel or a sharp razor to cut out the sticker. You're going to need a hair dryer, and you're going to need some soapy water. Just take some dish soap, put it in a couple drops. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. And of course you need your sticker, available at OutsideTribe.com. Alright guys, now that you've got all your stuff, we're going to get the sticker ready. So you're going to notice there is this clear side, and then there's this side, the paper side with the grid on it. The paper side is the side we're going to take off. We want the sticker to stay on this clear transfer paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it, and sometimes that sticker wants to stick to the paper. If it does that, you just rub it down and get that sticker to pull away. See right here, it's starting to pull up. We want it to stay on this side. Just going to press down real hard right there. Give it a little crease so it stays down. And now that's going to happen a lot on the corners of the flag here, and especially on the stars. So you want to be really careful not to just rip this paper right off. See, this one's being a little tough. You just want to work with it. Maybe give it a little press, rub it down. You just want it to stay on that transfer paper. See? You just got to work with it, be patient. And we just got to take all that off. And it's going to take, up here on the stars, you're going to have to be really careful because each star will want to pull off. And you're just going to have to keep working it to make sure it stays down. Make sure you got the right size, or the right side you're pulling off. Alright, now once you get the paper off, you're going to be messing with the sticky side of the flag. So you're going to want to be really careful now. You're going to want to spray some soapy water on it. This will help it so you can move it once you place it on the window. And if you accidentally mess up something like I did on my first one, if the flag folds over and it touches itself, now it won't stick to it. So it gives you a little bit of room for error. So we're going to spray that flag. Then we're going to bring it over here to the window, and we want to spray the window down with soapy water. Now this makes it so once you place the decal on there, you're going to be able to move it. So it won't be permanent your first stick. It's only going to be permanent once you start moving it around. Alright, now here I'm going to place the camera up here so I can start and put my flag up on there. Now you want to be real careful with it. Don't drop it. This is always easier with two people. You want the stars always facing forward. When you go to line this up, you're going to want a little bit of overlap right here on the corner. You don't want the corner perfectly on there because you want it to cover up that full corner. So you're going to overlay it on that. And then make sure you get it nice and straight as you can. Now I'm going to close my back so it'll be easier. So there, you're just laying it on there. And since it's still soapy water, you can still move it if you need to, and you can take it off and put it back on. But you want to get it nice and even and lined up. And take a step back, look at it, see if it's on there straight. If you want to make any adjustments, I think mine needs moved up a little bit. And see, you can still move it. That's a good thing about applying this soapy water, is you can still move it, and the first time it's not permanent. All right, so I think it looks good right there. You want it lined up at the top. You want to leave this little gap down here at the bottom so it looks nicer. All right, now we're just going to take our credit card and we're going to start smoothing it out. This is just, you're working out the water inside of it and under all those bars. Now this is when it starts to stick. This is how you get it to stick. You want to work from the inside out and just push all that water that you put in there to help you move it. You want to push all that water out. This is what helps your sticker stick. This also gets out the air bubbles. We don't want air bubbles. You're just going to keep working that. You see down here how all that water's falling out? That's what we want. Keep working it. Now once we get here to the back, this is when it gets hard for Sequoias, especially our first gen ones, because the back window curves. So if you just laid it on here flat without doing anything, your stripes down here will angle down once you get to the back. You see that? So even, and then right here when it curves, it shoots down. So what we have to do here is we're gonna have to place each of these stripes individually. And that's what the hair dryer is for. We're gonna have to use the hair dryer once we get there. I just leave it like this until I've got all this smoothed out, so then I can work on that. So just leave that back part like that and just work out all the other air bubbles and water and stuff you got going on up here. Because we can just reapply soap and water to that. We're gonna be able to work it just like we would have if we started there. All right, so we're at the back here. We've smoothed out most of the front. So now we're gonna take it, and we don't need all of this excess. So we're just gonna make sure you do not cut off more than you need. So we're gonna go, the window goes about right there, so we're gonna cut right here. And we're just gonna get rid of this excess that we don't need. And I wouldn't cut this in a straight line either, because the back of the window gets longer at the bottom. We got that off. And now we can just reapply some soapy water back here, so it makes it easier to work with. And here's where it gets tricky. We're gonna go one by one. We're just gonna cut this paper in between the stripes. We're gonna cut it so that we can work each stripe individually. See how I can just pull that right off. And we're going to be able, this is where the hair dryer is going to come in. See, if we just try and line that up top, it's that crease. That's what we don't want. So what I do is, since you got soapy water on here, you can do this. I peel it off and peel this back. And you want to go a good distance back so it doesn't look like you just kind of threw it on there, because then it'll look weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump up here. Now I'm standing on a cooler, so you can stand on a step stool. It makes it easier. You're going to pick this piece up and you're going to heat it up. And then once you heat it up, it's going to lay it so you can lay it evenly. So let's heat it up here. This will work. So don't stretch it, because if you pull on this while you're heating it, it will make it'll make it look like you pulled it. It'll get a little thinner. So we're just heating this up. And then once it's all heated up, we're going to take that, I'm going to spray some soapy water so you can move it. You got to do this a little quick. And then you want to lay it like that. And it's the same thing as down below. You just want it to be as straight across as you can. And you can use your finger. Let's see, we're going to need more. See that? We're going to need more heat to get that bend. We're going to do the same thing again. You work it, the better it's going to get. It's going to take some time, and it takes patience. You just got to keep doing this. It gets better towards the bottom because there's less of a curve. This top one is always going to be the hardest to get. See, we're getting better. You just got to keep going and keep doing it until it is where you want it. Just work it out. And right here is where you're going to get those little creases from when you're bending it around that corner. And once you get it about where you want it, see, I think that's about good. Keeps it a straight line. I could probably get it a little better. Yeah, let's get it perfect. that's about perfect. And now it's bunching up here. So while it's bunching up, I can take the hair dryer and just slowly work the creases. You just hit the bottoms with the card. Now you see that? This started out really big creases, and now we've worked them down into these very, very tiny creases that once the sticker dries up underneath, these will all just go away. Just like that. Now you're going to repeat this step. You're going to repeat this step for each bar. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to cut it right down this transfer paper. You're going to peel it back. You're going to warm it up. And before you place it back down, warming it up, you're going to spray water on here so you can still move it. Now remember when I said when you pull it back, you want to pull it back a good distance. Because if you come to here and try and move it, you're going to get this really obvious bend in your bar. When you bring it back this far, it makes it so it doesn't look that like it bends that much. And you just want to work it and keep doing it. And as long as you keep spraying that soapy water on there, you can keep moving it until you get it right. And the heat helps a lot. Just don't stretch it, don't pull it. And we're just going to do it all the way down the flag. This right here is what it looks like when you pull it. See how it gets thinner right here? This is on my passenger side. This is my first go at it. It gets thinner because I was heating it up and I was stretching it. So you can see that. And then you can see it's got more of an obvious bend. See, it kind of kinks here and goes straight. As this one down here looks perfectly flat because I pulled it all the way back to here and then relayed it. So this is what, these ones up here are what you don't want to do. See? Don't do that. Alright guys, so I'm here on the last bar, or second to last bar. And you can see how I've worked it down, and then you get these little creases here. And when you get those, that's from when you're wrapping it around this corner to make it straight. So when you get this, you're just going to take the hairdryer, hit it, and then you're just going to work it from the bottom, the point, and you're just going to slowly work it all the way to the top. Just like this. Yeah, nice and hot. Just like that. Now that's how you get those creases out of the bar on your flags. Okay, now once we got those laid out, I like to go around and trace with your scalpel, cut the outside of the flag. So what you're just gonna do is just gonna take it, and you're gonna run it right along the window, and you're gonna cut. Now you wanna make sure you get it right the first time, because obviously once you cut, you can't go back and fix anything. So once it's done, it's done. And you're just gonna do that around the whole thing. Up here, you're gonna get this corner, you're gonna get all down to right there. You just wanna outline the window before we're gonna take it off. All right, now that we got it cut out, final step is to slowly peel this off. Now, there's still gonna be some bubbles and some creases back here from the water and the soap that we haven't gotten out. So when we pull this back, we're gonna do it super carefully because it can still move, and we don't want it to move a ton. Now actually what we're gonna do is, since it's so wet still, we're gonna dry it out a little bit. Now you don't have to do this, you can just let it dry. I'm gonna air dry it. See, Alright, now I got my paper off and I got some bubbles because I didn't wait long enough to pull it off until it dried. So now I'm just going to take the hairdryer, credit card, and get all those bubbles out. They're all full of bubbles or soap and water, so they'll just pop out and just smooth it all down now. Most of the bubbles, you won't even need the hairdryer. The hairdryer is just for if you have some creases, kind of like you did, like what happened in the corner or down here on that curve. It's the only time you'll really need the hairdryer. But you're gonna be able to see the bubbles. They're gonna work out super easily because they all got water underneath of them. That's why we use the water, because it helps it. So when we're at this point, it's not all stuck down, so we can actually work with it. So you just go around your whole thing, get all your bubbles out and creases, and if you have creases, hit it with the hairdryer, warm it up, and it should smooth right out. It should go completely flat. So just do this, take your time, make sure you get all the bubbles out, because once that water goes away and dries, then it's on. So just take your time. And this is, I'm only doing one side today because I did the other side when I got it before I messed up. And it is a long process. If you want to make it look nice, I would take a good chunk of time and allow yourself to do this and not be rushed. Because if you rush, you will make a mistake. And it's not fun making mistakes, because then you got to buy a new one. And I know that firsthand because I dropped my driver's side my driver's side sticker when I got it. Once I took the cover off, and it stuck to itself, so I had to buy a new one. It sucks. These are the first decals I've ever put on like this. So if I can do it, you can do it. It's hard, takes some time, but it's